Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the general daily collective message for Friday, July the 15th. Keep in mind, timing and energy is still fluid. This reading could play out today or over the next several days. This message may or may not be for you, so I do ask that you only take with you the messages that resonate and leave behind the rest. We are going to talk about some of these moon transits that are taking place. The moon is in Aquarius and it's complicating our emotions, to say the least. And with the moon squaring it up with Uranus and forming a conjunction to Saturn, I feel get ready to embrace some very uncomfortable feelings. I think some instability, some shakeups. And it's not going to be easy to relax in the energies today or to come into a state of balance. The moon is responsible for our well-being and our mood. And boy, that Aquarian moon is really complicating things, to say the least. And so when the moon is going to be struck by this luminary aspect of Uranus, I think it's going to create all kinds of instability, because Saturn is the organizer of karmic debt. And so I think it's this freezing energy, freezing our emotional life in some fashion. And so what I kept hearing was fight, flight, freeze. And so huge fears coming up to be addressed when it comes to the realm of emotional expression in the energies today. And so Saturn does represent karma. That's not a secret when it comes to astrology. And so get ready to face some tests, some obstacles, some fears, and some delays in the energies. And this is why so many people fear Saturn. This is not to be feared. I think, personally, I believe without these tests in our life, we can never evolve beyond this stuckness, and we can never grow as a soul. And so with the moon bringing forward that representation of our emotional life, it is our sense of belonging, and it is connected to the relationship with our mother figure. The state of the moon in your own personal natal chart is going to determine how you're going to be feeling these energies today. And so it is all based on the early conditioning that we received in our childhood from our mother and our father. And so this is how we respond emotionally as adults when we're not consciously aware of what the heck we need to bring to the surface that has been keeping us stuck. And so a lot of the experiences we go through in our life will be like a reformation of these childhood patterns in order for us to develop internally. And so there's huge potential in the energies. And also with this aspect, it might be really highlighting where you've had an absent father in your life. And so many on the journey either have an absent father or an absent mother, or both, that just were not emotionally available in some way, shape, or form. And so my biological father was very absent. Although my parents lived together until about my mid-20s, my parents separated when I was 25. My father was never really fully present, and neither was my mother. So although my parents always provided for us, I'm not going to say I had a horrible childhood, because I didn't. I did lack love in my childhood. And so it creates this very difficult energy when it comes to adulthood, when it comes to emotionally connecting with others. And so my stepfather's always been the one to be there for my kids since my parents' divorce. I've not really had any type of healthy relationship with my father, not before the divorce, not after the divorce. And I really haven't even had any contact with my father over the last several years. My children have only met my father a handful of times throughout their lifetime. And so I had a really hard time emotionally connecting with my stepfather after my parents' divorce. There was a lot of unresolved emotional baggage there, a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, a lot of resentment, a lot of hate. And I didn't really care much for my stepfather. And it's taking me all of these years to be able to open up and to be emotionally available to have that connection with my stepfather. And so I do want to say, parents do not ever intentionally harm their children. At the core, it's this deep lack of love of self that, makes it really hard for parents to connect with their children. And so And it's all due to our own parents' unhealed wounds, unhealed trauma. And that's really the problem at the core. And so we as children, when we're children, we don't understand this. We personalize this, we internalize this, and we think there's something wrong with us. And so, you know, as a child, I remember every time my mother wanted to fix something, she would buy me something to make up for it. And that was her way of showing remorse or showing she cared. And so it's taken me a lot of work, a lot of integration over the last several years to become closer to my mother. And it took time to do this work intentionally. And so with the moon conjunct Saturn, it's this energy of emotional starvation coming through. So what is the lesson of Saturn trying to bring forward, I think, is the question. And I think the answer is it is learning to become your own parent. We as adults who, you know, were starved of love as a child are learning to reparent ourselves and to heal that inner child. And so when we do that, we can reconnect with our mother in a healthy fashion. But it takes time to learn how to nurture yourself to this full emotional health, okay? So emotional resilience is coming up as well. And likely in a past life, maybe we lacked empathy. And so this life, many of us are come to pay back that debt as empaths. And so a lot of learning about our psychology, how our brain works, how we speak to our parents, and how we can grow and mature beyond all of these traumas. And so we don't recreate these patterns with our own children. And so I know for myself, it was through meeting people or men, so to speak, time and time again, and trying to bond with them to have that closeness that I had to learn the hard way. Every time I risked myself over and over again emotionally, it just led to more heartbreak and more patterns. And so with my South Node in Aquarius in the 12th house, it was always this deep, deep need to want to fit in. I never felt like I fit in socially with my family. And so sometimes this can create this hesitation when it comes to fully expressing ourselves emotionally. And it's so easy to get lost in love because we crave and want that intimacy so badly. I so wanted to fit in, but it really was at the expense of losing myself. And so in the end, I kind of had to learn to, you know, learn that lesson and to live with this phrase always in my head: feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And so what I think this conjunction is going to truly be about in the energies collectively is learning how to love ourselves unconditionally. When we love ourselves unconditionally, that's when we can truly express love to everybody healthily. And so as children, many of us did not have this endless supply of love when we grew up. And maybe we didn't have the love we truly needed. Or maybe we were loved with extreme conditions based on our grades. I know I was always expected to have those good grades, to be well behaved. And so it created this deep sense of fear and restriction in my emotional life. And so as an adult, we kind of got to check ourselves. So what I learned as a child was to build this tough wall around my heart to kind of conceal who I truly was in order to fit in with people. And so I hear my kids fighting upstairs. So I know for myself, I've always wanted to be truly vulnerable, but sometimes when we get hurt time and time again, we just throw on that smile and we pretend everything's okay when it's really not. And so likely, if that's, you know, what's kind of gone on in your own life, you were likely burned time and time again when you were vulnerable. And so Saturn conjunct the moon is bringing up all of these self-worth issues to make us face where we have taken on partners who were unhealed to mirror reflect to us their projected pain onto us in order for us to learn our self-worth. And so over time, we do mature. We learn how to stop taking things so personal. And so Saturn is removing this grip on our emotional world, and all of these tests eventually we learn to overcome, and then we learn to love ourselves. And so in order to find ourselves as worthy without all of this external validation, we do have to become conservative with the people that we connect with. And so we do need to go into that lighthearted, childlike presence of self and remember how to light up a room again. And so karmic debt is beginning to clear in the energies. And we're looking at where we have been emotionally starved. And so you might be feeling emotionally starved for empathy over the coming days in order to get you to start expressing exactly how you feel without caring how others will think about you or say about you, because it really is about how you view yourself. And so it's this restructuring. We can't keep craving affection from people around us, because then our entire life is going to be all about seeking external validation, when in essence, it's always kind of been within. And so many of us, I know, have struggled to get to where we are today on the spiritual journey. And I know so many people see me as so tough and so resilient. And you know what? Sometimes that tough girl, she needs that loving support too. And so I know for me, I'm a super devoted parent. And for me, having children is really what led me to understand myself more. It really led me to try and figure out what I kept getting wrong in all of these toxic relationship cycles. And so, and it's also helped me find forgiveness for my own mother. Until you're actually a mother, you don't understand the struggles of motherhood. And so for a very long time, I blamed my mother. I really did. I blamed my mother for all of these shortcomings, especially with my children, and repeating this abandonment wound over and over again. Both of my children don't have their fathers involved. And so what I've come to realize over the last several years on my integration and healing journey is that, you know, I wasn't really doing any better than my mother was before I come into this awareness. No matter how much I loved my children, I just felt like it wasn't enough. And so children, I love my children to the core. And so in raising my own children, it really did help me heal my own inner child. And so when we understand truly our strength and our power truly does lie in our reaction or non-reaction. And so when we pause and reflect before we respond, then we are not playing into all of these overreactions. And so when we give somebody else the power to control us or to pull our puppet strings, you know, nobody wants to be a puppet on somebody's strings, then we can become our own master. And so I feel a lot of emotional instability in the energies, and it does take time to get to a place of stability. And I know for me, that father wound has been coming up a lot recently. And so many of us on the spiritual journey, when it comes to our emotional life, we have to face all kinds of hardships, all kinds of sadness, shame, and guilt in order to rise above, especially if one or both of your parents were cold, mean, or absent, or expected perfection out of you. And so so many of us have this deep need to want to feel valued, and so many of us had to grow up faster than we really needed to. And so there's this primal need, I think, tugging all of us to nurture ourselves, especially when it comes to the needs that were not met when we were children. And so any needs that were not met when we were children does cause all kinds of self-worth issues, self-respect issues, depression. I know many of us cycle through periods of depression, trying to understand, why am I not worthy of unconditional love? And so when we get to the other side of this transformation, then we can become a very stable and dependable person, mother, friend, lover. And so with the moon representing our inner world and the energies today, and Saturn pointing out all of our weaknesses and our vulnerabilities, get ready to go into any inadequacy issues. And with my moon in Virgo, this was very prominent with me with my mother's North Node in Virgo. She was very overly critical. She still is overly critical of a lot of things. But I now know how not to react and to not take it so personally anymore. I know as a child, I always felt like I was never, ever good enough. It didn't matter if I had straight A's, if everything was perfect. It was like it was just never enough. And let's face it, nobody is perfect. We will never, ever be perfect. She hid your cookies. Oh, can you go get her suckies, monkey? So I think, you know, all of these painful parts are being asked to be dealt with this aspect. So, you know, we're not here to be super hard on ourselves. I think, you know, we're here to embrace self-respect and to put an end to all of this toxicity. And so, you know, I've gone through many cycles of abusive relationships. I lived quite the adventurous life in my 20s, and I had my first daughter at the age of 30, which was an abusive, toxic relationship filled with addictions. I actually almost miscarried my oldest daughter because of a an altercation, and what that led to was my daughter not having a father around from 6 weeks pregnant on. And so I had to learn even some more harder lessons when it comes to seeking outside validation. I was assaulted just prior to meeting my youngest daughter's father, shattered my ankle. It was, you know, a very transformative time in my life then. Kenzie, I'm recording a video. Can you please get something done there with Bailey? Thank you. It's a shit show, guys. It is what it is. And so I always like to learn lessons the hard way. And so I've had many abusive relationships. At the age of 36, I had my youngest daughter. And once again, it was another cycle of narcissistic empath abuse. And so when I went through this awakening process, it really did get me to this milestone moment. And it got me to this place of forgiveness of self and others, because until we know better, we really can't do better. And so I think get ready to be in this energy of fight, flight, or freeze today. And when we freeze, that's when we can really take it all in, and we can understand the intensity of the lesson, and we can really step into this self-development journey. So I wanted to point out, I was very... I don't know how to put it. It was a very weird energy this morning, and I always pull a few cards for myself every morning, and I chose the past life lesson deck. And so these 3 cards came out, dependency, inadequacy, and guarded. And so I was asked to share these energies with you today. And so dependency. When we become self-reliant, that truly is the key to healthy self-esteem. And so I think we're being asked to look at our life. Are you too dependent on others for your happiness and your well-being? And if that's the case, what can you give to yourself to boost your own confidence? Inadequacy issues. Where do you need to release feelings of inadequacy and shame, especially when it comes to these acquired past experiences? Nobody owns a perfect life. Let me just tell you that, okay? And these experiences shape us. So, and then the guarded energy. And so, all of these past experiences build this, you know, hard shell, this wall around our heart. And so if we really want to receive unconditional love, we do have to be willing to give freely from the heart. We have to be willing to freely share ourselves with others. And when we are open, this will result in that reciprocal healthy relationship that many of us so deeply desire. And so let's jump in with some cards, guys, and see what other messages need to come through. I actually grabbed the Senses of the Soul deck today. I haven't used this deck in a while. It was gifted to me several years ago from another healer locally when I worked at an expo. And actually she was connected to my father years ago. They went to high school together. And so let's see what we got here. 17 and 35, throat chakra, solar plexus chakra. So I think get ready to digest your emotions and to act on behalf of your own needs. Where do you need to mother yourself? It is safe for you to speak your truth. And when we speak our truth, then we give others the power to know that they are safe to speak their truth. And so get ready to move forward with clarity and confidence. I think this weekend we're all being asked to honor our truth, to speak our truth, and to be brave enough to step into an energy of being self-reliant. Because nobody is ever going to fix that hole, that void within you if you aren't able to do that yourself. So let's see what else needs to come through. The Lotus, beautiful, 53 and 8. And so the Lotus, I actually have a Lotus painting on the wall over here that I painted. That's what I do when I'm in some very low energy, I tap into those creative juices. And so we're all being asked to honor our divinity with grace and humility. And humility truly is the pathway to living a life of compassion and unconditional love. And so many of us are blooming, and you think of the lotus, it grows in the yuck and the mud, kind of like the caterpillar in the oozy gooey cocoon stage. And so it's always within our darkest moments that we find our deepest strength. So if you're in a very dark place in the energies, just honor that, and know that the energy is beginning to bloom. So we're going to get 3 more cards, and we're going to see what else needs to come through for the collective today. Echinacea 13, that is death energy. That is also sacral chakra. So we are being asked to integrate our material world with our true spiritual identity and to embrace our inner light. And it is only by embracing our inner light that we can light up the dark. Rose hip, and to nurture that child within. So we've got, I feel this is crown chakra energy. So we are receiving all of these downloads, these higher light code activations in order to go into the sacral, which is where we hold all of this emotional baggage. And any person you've ever been intimate with, you carry their emotional baggage with you. If you've got children with people, you're carrying their emotional baggage, right? And so a lot of heart energy coming up. And we are being asked to release the past and to trust in the inner knowing that it's time to kind of move forward. So a lot of energy integrating. That is so interesting. 1331. My path of destiny is 13. My divine counterpart's path of destiny was 31. And so mirroring. So who is mirroring back to you where you have not nurtured this inner child from within? Where are you needing to release the past? And I think we all need to understand we are always fully supported as we undergo this spiritual transformation. So I think maybe it's time for all of us to release these negative compulsions and to release anything that's been keeping us from our true, authentic, divine identity. And so what do you need to release that is no longer serving you in order to find harmony in your life? Because we're here to honor Mother Earth. We're here to honor our inner mother, our inner child, and we're here to grow beyond all of these old familial patterns. And so we're going to read out of the book for the Lotus. They would like me to read out of the book for the Lotus today before jumping in with some tarot. So let's see here. So yes, like the lotus, just like the water lily, the sacred lotus is a water plant that roots beneath the water. And so it grows and floats along the water's surface too. I know when we go camping, we got all kinds of lilies and stuff in the ponds. And so the lotus is drawing our attention to our health. It is the crown chakra, without a doubt. And so it's asking us to view how we conceptualize our status as a divine being. And so the sacred lotus is a symbol of embodiment of ourselves as a spiritual being. And so this is a sign of imbalance that is occurring. And so definitely in alignment with the astrology today. And so the lotus energy is reminding us of our true divine nature, and it is always going to be cultivated through humility and service to others. And so where are you needing to identify where you have been playing into some low-grade ego desires? If you're focused solely on enlightenment for your own betterment and to be superior than somebody else, let me just tell you, there are so many people out there in spiritual ego. Nobody is better than anybody else. And like, I see so many posts like, well, I'm enlightened, I'm better than you. And that's just not the case. And so get ready to bring into alignment all of your other chakras. Look at all of your external influences. Who's been dominating your journey up until now? What do you need to release to bring yourself back into harmony when it comes to your divine purpose? And so get ready to check your ego at the door with these energies and to embrace oneness, because we are all one. We are all connected. And so in order to restore balance to your crown chakra, ask yourself, who are you serving on your spiritual journey? Because we are here to serve God. We are here to serve a higher power, and we are here to contribute to the greater good for humanity. And so the lotus flower is asking us to harmonize our spiritual energy and to take the appropriate actions in order to make beneficial changes. And so a lot is being integrated between the material and the spiritual world. So let's jump in with some tarot today and see what other messages need to come through the wheel. It's time to put the past to bed. It really is time to release all of these delays, these challenges, to allow the fates to spin us forward. And there's that childlike, inspired energy, the page. Pages are children, enthusiastic. You know, before we're damaged as kids, we are enthusiastic, we're optimistic, we're creative, and I feel this impatient energy when it comes to feeling stuck. And so get ready to embrace a new exciting opportunity. When we heal our inner child, that's when we can allow our creativity to soar. So what is going to fuel your passions? What is it that you want to get started on when it comes to a new creative endeavor? Because there is a fresh new start around the corner, and all of these delays and challenges are coming to an end. And I think get ready for a sudden unexpected change, upheaval of some sort. And no matter how this change comes in, it is positive change in your life to get you to travel and move forward. So we're going to do a 9-card spread, guys. We're going to see what needs to come through for the collective today. Never know where these cards are going to take me. That's the beauty in the tarot. 6 of Cups, the Moon, the Dreamer. So there is a lot of inner child healing taking place. The Sun, Justice, 2 of Wands. We got a lot of major arcana. So whatever's taking place in the energy, it is out of your hands. It is in the divine's hands. 9 of Wands. There's that core wound coming up. There's that core Chiron aspect, the wounded healer. 2 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords. So we start with a 6 and we end with a 6. Beautiful. Bottom of the deck, the Empress. Release. 10 of Cups. Oh my God, this is beautiful energy today. So get ready to revisit some childhood memories. I think get ready to embrace your inner child in the energies today. This could also mean the return of memories or people from the past, even a romance from the past. A hidden love on the heart. The moon represents fear though too. And so fear coming up when it comes to this new start. So we do have Pisces, Aries, Leo, Libra. Wow, we have Taurus, Libra, and Scorpio. So major spiritual transformations are taking place in the energy. And I think we're all kind of being asked to listen to our own intuition, to pay attention to the signs and the things that the universe and the divine is bringing forward. Because these signs are saying, hey, it's time to release this fear, this unnecessary worry. Let go of these fears. I feel a revelation, especially when it comes to the romances of your past. Clearing all of these childhood patterns, releasing any guilt, shame, regret, remorse, guilt, knowing that we can never go back and change the past. Look at this. I've never noticed this before. 5 of Cups on the ground. And the little girl is holding the Ace of Cups. And the boy is holding some yellow flowers. And so, there are 2 people that the angels are trying to bring together. So I think get ready to maybe go into some nostalgia. Especially when it comes to any repressed emotions on the heart. And that's so interesting. The moon will be shifting into Pisces for the weekend. And so this could mean the return of somebody from the past. I feel there was an extended period of grieving, loss, double loyalty. There's a dog on the card, a little puppy on the card, and I feel a connection that does bring out the best of you, your inner child, that fun, joy-like energy again. And so we're all needing to trust that there is a new start around the corner. We've been doing the work. We've been clearing all of these past pains, all of these past regrets, or any feelings of inadequacy and shame. So get ready to push your fears aside and to take a leap of faith. What have you been dreaming about? Somebody's been dreaming about a new beginning, I think. Afraid to take action. Maybe waiting for a revelation that will make everything crystal clear, and something is coming to light. There's definitely an illumination of something, especially when it comes to some inner child wounding. When we embrace the healing of our own inner child, that is when we can help others heal. And you know what? Chiron is about to go retrograde on the 19th. And so really going deep into the pain. And so there is a need for a rebalancing, Libra. Where do you need to bring balance back into your life? And with the twos, it is decision time. Twos is always crossroads, choices, decisions, and being brave enough to take those next step forward. Maybe partnering with somebody that you do have the same dreams with. Maybe somebody that you've been connected to since childhood. Definitely a deep past life connection coming through, and there is going to be an epiphany to get somebody to go towards a magical opportunity that will bring a lot of joy, a lot of success. But there is a need to stand up for what it is that you believe in. Where are you needing to stand up for yourself? Where are you needing to be self-reliant and to bring yourself back into a state of balance? Because everybody wins when we all come from a place of personal integrity. And so somebody is at the crossroads being asked to continue to move forward. Could be a same-sex couple, doesn't have to be. But I feel somebody's got this opportunity with the world in their hands to bring forward everything they've ever dreamed of. But you're going to have to remain impartial. You might have to be a little bit objective. And you're going to have to be prepared to go into this core wound and to ask your angels for assistance as you go through this rebalancing. There is a major realignment, and the time is now with the clocks. No more juggling, no more indecision. It's time to go into those emotions because you can't keep walking this tightrope. It's time to release these challenges. Things will look up the second you choose to find your way to a peaceful place. And so if you want to end depression, if you want to end these toxic relationship cycles, you might have to choose to move on and to leave it all behind, because we are birthing these new realities. And we've got a divine feminine here. We got an empress here that is about to give birth to everything she's ever dreamed of. This could mean a new creative project, a new creative endeavor. The Empress is the epitome of unconditional love. She is the mother of all mothers. So we could have a mother here getting ready to step into abundance and prosperity after going through a very painful spiritual transformation. And to get to that Empress status, you know how painful it is to birth a baby if you've birthed a baby. But when you're through all of the pain and you're on the other side of waiting, it's beautiful to look at that child in the eyes for the first time, to hold that baby for the first time is a miracle. And so I feel a miracle around the corner. Corning. Oh, that's so weird. It's actually sweet corn season here. I haven't had any yet. And so I feel a divine feminine that went through a very painful ending, which was leading her to a new beginning. And maybe we haven't seen the light through the forest yet, but where do you need to release people, places, and things that have been holding you back? Because somebody is transforming their life. And there is an Empress here that is manifesting a happy marriage, a happy home, an emotional contentment, a loving relationship with her children, and a mother here that is chosen to break these family patterns and to raise her children wisely and successfully. And so an Empress here, I feel, is coming into an offer with somebody that she will be able to trust. So let's take a look at the Six of Cups and the Moon, because there's been some hidden emotions here below the surface. We got a Queen of Cups, an Eight of Pentacles, transformation. And so, yes, a very loving, compassionate, psychic, feminine energy. Somebody that I think in the past was very self-sacrificing, has received some new psychic insights when it comes to not forgetting to care about herself. Yes, we're here to care and love and nurture people around us, but we cannot forget to care for ourselves. And so somebody here choosing to give love back to herself and not freely giving it to anybody else, really working on this transformation journey. So, yeah, learning to trust your intuition. There is a feminine here that has deep, deep love for her family and friends, and maybe she followed her heart. And maybe she's had her heart broken many times over, maybe up to 8 times over, in order to learn all she can about these family patterns, to maybe make a career out of helping others heal these patterns themselves. And so I feel somebody's really been doing the work when it comes to a significant life experience that did require some big, big life changes to be made. And so I feel breaking free, releasing all of these old belief systems and standing up for what it is that you believe in. Not what your mom believes in, not what your dad believes in, not what you were taught in school or in church. What do you believe in? And I feel a masculine getting ready to take charge of a situation and likely come in with an offer. The King of Wands is a visionary, an inspiring, motivational leader. And you know, water and fire make steam. So there is a steamy connection here. Could be dealing with a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or Aries, Leo, Sag. Doesn't have to be. Let's take a look at this Justice, because there was something that was not fair in the past. And something being rebalanced. Yeah, something was not fair in the past. Oh my gosh. Yeah, player. Somebody was dealing with a player. Likely many players in the past. And this is what got this Empress to that status. And so, you know, so many times we make these unwise choices and we go towards these very toxic relationships time and time again. And so maybe that was needed in order to learn that there's always a better way towards happiness. But I feel fear of commitment in the past, and so many of us don't feel we're worthy of that commitment. Many of us have parents that were divorced, not really there for us, and so therefore we don't feel we deserve that, right? And so I also feel somebody's been withholding coming in with action. There was definitely an injustice in the past that is requiring immediate action to be taken in order to fix this imbalance. Somebody's been withholding coming in with integrity, likely struggling financially, going through some extreme emotional lows, making some poor decisions, definitely lacked integrity in the past, but wanting to come in for that new opportunity, for that clean slate. It's time to get to work. It's time to do something new. So let's see what this decision is about, this crossroads, the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Wands. Somebody was all up in their ego. All up in their ego when it comes to maybe apologizing. And hey, let's face it, apologizing and admitting you're wrong is never easy to do. But I feel somebody's getting ready to take responsibility for a past decision that they made that maybe hurt this Empress. To take responsibility for their life and to make a choice that will support the pathway to happiness. Somebody was playing into some ego desires, the Devil, Capricorn energy, and breaking those chains, wanting to come in for healing, wanting to work together. There's an Empress coming into recognition for the healing work that she has done, and maybe even for a creative endeavor she's already began. And so there is going to be an excellent opportunity for healing, and there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And this is wishes being granted and balance being restored. And an unexpected arrival when it comes to an apology, because there is a masculine getting ready to stand up for his beliefs and wanting to bring harmony into a very imbalanced situation, learning the power of diversity and self-control. They're decisive, they're focused, they're driven, and they're coming in with great, great speed with an apology. Likely going through some very moodiness, a lot of oversensitivity, but somebody knows it's time to bring that apology forward for this new emotional experience. And they did not want to see this. They were unwilling to look at this in the past, unwilling to make this decision in the past. Dealing with self-worth and abandonment issues, lurking in the shadows, watching this Empress grow and evolve, and grieving over this missed opportunity, all stuck up in their head, playing into fear. When it comes to maybe not feeling worthy enough to bring this Empress an offer, but somebody is coming forward with a message. They want a union. They see a foundation here that will bring peace and contentment. And so healing that core wound of you know, unworthiness is kind of what I feel in the energies today. So let's get a couple last messages from Spirit. Things are looking up, guys. These challenging times are coming to an end. So Let's see what else Spirit has for the collective today for a message. There we go. What do you need to say no to? What do you need to say no to? Because when we stay in these toxic cycles and we don't leave on our own, the universe smacks us with that tower, that Saturn lesson, and it really doesn't feel good. And so get ready to get rigorously honest with yourself. And there's that forgiveness energy coming through. Forgiveness, forgiving your parents, forgiving anybody that's ever hurt you, and most of all, forgiving yourself for putting up with shit that you didn't deserve before you knew better, okay? And so forgiveness never ever allows it to be okay that others have hurt you or mistreated you or abused you or taken advantage of you. But when you reach a level of forgiveness, then you can move on from it free from the chains of the past. And so somebody here is recognizing that they're maturing. They're going to take this wisdom and they're going to create a new life with this wisdom. And so definitely we are evolving. We are learning some valuable lessons in the energies today. And we are working through some very difficult past life karma that we have to kind of work through before we can get into that next stage of the journey. And so acknowledging these difficulties is really the first step of healing from them, first and foremost. And so learning is necessary, and we always can reach out to our spiritual team for that guidance, for that assistance. And, you know, another big lesson, refrain from judgments, because we all have our own pathway to aligning to our truth, and not everybody gets there at the same time, but we all eventually get there. At least I hope we do anyway. And so when we allow others their own journey, that's when we can really experience life in the fullness in our own way, knowing that we only have control over ourselves. And so get ready to face some obstacles and challenges. We will get through this. We will get through this. Learn how to draw those healthy boundaries, because many of us are very loving, giving people. But we cannot give to the point where we are depleted, and we cannot keep giving to people that don't reciprocate. So where have you compromised your value? Where have you compromised yourself just to be connected to somebody, just so you're not alone? So I think get ready to get to know yourself, to understand who's been depleting you, why you're so dissatisfied in any area of your life, and what you need to do to nourish yourself, because everything always happens for a reason. And we might not understand why in the moment, but we eventually understand why. And no matter what we've all gone through, it truly has made us stronger. And I do think the worst is over. I think the worst is over. So that's what I got, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a twin soul reading with me, I encourage you to check out that description box below. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for the weekend check-in.